VLTs had been installed. And so we anticipated that there would be some reduction in the lottery proceeds as a result of the installation of VLT machines at our racetracks. Because the VLT machines will not be installed, we are expecting now a larger income through the lottery.
Governor, you said you plan to seek a declaratory judgment on the question of whether the lottery has the authority to expand the slots of VLTs. Does that mean it's still your intention to pursue adding video lottery terminals at the racetracks?
I want to answer that question in two ways, Mark. First of all, I think this is a constitutional matter that needs clarification. And so I will pursue it in order to achieve that clarification regarding the authority that I have as governor, or anyone else who may be governor would have. Secondly, although it is, as I have said, impractical to assume any income from VLTs for this biennial budget, it would be my expectation as we move forward, depending upon the recovery of the economy and other factors, that the VLT initiative should be a tool for me or anyone else who may be governor going forward. And in order for that to be possible, I think we need the constitutional issue clarified.
What is the status of the license fees that a few of them have submitted? Are they going to be returned?
I have said very, very publicly, and I feel very strongly about this, that we should deal with those who have already paid a license fee in an honorable way, and in my judgment, we intend to do it. Those resources would be returned to them.
Governor, as for the tax reform going forward, do you plan to go forward with that 4.2% on a later date, or is this complete?
Yes, this is a postponement, not a termination. I want to emphasize that. I have worked hard, and I think members of the legislature have worked hard to protect the structure of the tax reform that was passed before I became governor. I believe what we are suggesting here keeps the structure of that tax reform intact. It does not alter the structure of that reform. It merely is a postponement of the final implementation of the reform.
Would the goal be to add it next year, or is there an expectation of that?
I am suggesting that for this biennial budget, that the tax reform be reduced or postponed. I'm sorry, postponed.
Governor, why would all the cuts have to come from education? Would you consider cutting other areas of state?
Well, because the money from the VLTs was designated for education, and it would be impossible for me, as I understand from my budget and tax folks, it would be impossible for me to take money from other parts of the budget and shift it to education. So that means that the cuts would necessarily come from education.
Couldn't you do that with legislative approval?
We could, but that would require the legislature being willing to cooperate and to make the cuts necessary elsewhere in order to shift it into education.
So have you looked into that possibility at all, and considered what the other options might be to? Well,
I can only share with you, I don't know what the legislature would decide, but we have a very lean budget, and I believe it would be absolutely intolerable for us to cut further. And in fact, to consider cutting $850 million out of other parts of our budget, when so much of the budget is off limits for any reductions, debt service, for example, our federal obligations for Medicaid and so on, that would mean that $850 million would have to be found in about 10% of our total budget, and that, in my judgment, would just be beyond anything that we could possibly contemplate doing.
Do you have a timetable